Hello, welcome back to this random table where I fix stuff. Here we've got this 1939 RCA 94BP1. This is a portable battery powered radio. See the handle on the top there. Not sure if you can tell, but this is a significantly smaller. Back up a little bit. It's significantly smaller than the 1931 RCA P31 that I worked on a couple months ago. It was a much larger, much heavier unit than this. Condition doesn't seem too bad. You can see the speaker, the gold cloth here is getting a bit torn, so that will have to get replaced. The front, it's got a few stains and some nicks, but it's not that bad. Looks like the knobs have worn in a little bit. See the handle is still attached on top. Again, just some staining, maybe a little bit of wear there, but overall it's not too terrible, really. So let's take this apart, see if we can get it to work. This fell out of the box when I unpacked it. It's a battery connector, so not quite sure what happened with that. I did have a quick peek inside here, but didn't really do much investigation. Let's take these screws out. One of these is, that one's no longer attached, so we'll just take this one out here. It's also not quite, see the block broke off there. There's our label. See the tube chart there, 4 tubes. Envelope here with another, looks like a battery jumper or something. Oops, like one of the wires just fell off. No, it only has one wire. Okay, so that must be something that somebody made at one point, I'm assuming. Looks like it used to have another wire connected there, but no longer does. Not quite sure what the deal is with that. I got a little envelope here, which says plugs. Oops, it says plugs for number 742, A battery 1.5 volts, number 762, B battery 90 volts. I thought this is 90 volts, I thought it would be 67.5, but it could be 90. To check the schematic, I guess. And a little note with our, so that should be our connections. I'll double check this before I hook anything up, but if that's correct, that would be nice. But looks like this was probably at one point glued in to hold the battery in place, but it no longer is. Got battery here. One and a half volts, AB 90 volts. So this would be single battery with both the 1.5 and the 90 in one pack. Not quite sure. Okay, that's interesting. So looks like someone has removed the plugs from the end of the wires, shoved the wires into the battery, and then put wooden sticks in to hold them in place. Well, we'll definitely have to do something about that. It's not correct. Just pull all these out of here. Obviously this battery's no good. What I plan to do, see how it works, what I plan to do is take this apart and see if I can stuff some new batteries in here and connect to this terminal, and that way see if we can use that. So see, this is the plug that fell out of the box. See if this will fit in. It will not. Okay, so we might have to make something up for that. I don't think these will, no, those won't fit in either. So, well, let's see if we can make something up for that. I wonder which one these, the right size. Okay, so the fat pin is too fat. This fat pin here is too fat to go in any of the holes. Looks like the skinny pin looks like it might be about the right size. But these pins are even skinnier still, and those I think would be too small. Yeah, you can see those ones, those just would flop around in those holes. So let's see what we can do. This pin might be the same size actually as a tube pin. So let's see, this is a old dead tube. See if this pin, yeah. So maybe I can find maybe this dead tube. I'll just break up this tube socket and steal some pins maybe. We'll see. Anyway, that's not the current issue, but it will have to be addressed at some point. Okay, so let's see what we can see here. So we've got our battery wires here. It's like loop antenna there. Might be this screw and that screw that hold the chassis in. So let me take those out, pull the knobs off the front. We'll pull this out and see what it looks like. Alright, so I got this out. Comes out as a nice little unit with the loop antenna there. This is our power volume control, and then tuning here. Maybe I have to see if I can tighten that up or something. It doesn't want to, like, it's slipping quite a bit. So as you can put a little bit of wax on these too, so maybe I'll try that first. Just not. And steam. This would be all the way closed that way. Does that match up with the front? Yeah, okay. So that matches up there. Turning it this way would tune up through the band to reduce the capacitance. So it turns that way, but it doesn't want to go backwards, so have a look into that too. Looks like all the tubes are present. The 4 tubes, this one has a shield. Looks like this one should have a shield, or maybe not. I see this little spring thing here, but that's against the metal base, so maybe that's all they were intending, was to shield with the metal base, but again, maybe this was supposed to have a shield, but anyway, this one has a shield, none of the other ones do. I'm going to flip this up on the bottom and take a look. This seems pretty stable here to rest on, so I'm not worried about that. So let's see what we have. Usually these don't have many, if any, electrolytics because they're DC power, so they don't need a AC supply filtering or anything. See 0.0001. Pretty small. To look at that closer. So antenna lead coming in here. Kind of weird that it's just flopping around there, but anyway. So we've got what, 1, 2, 3, looks like 4 paper capacitors, and the rest are these little mica things. Is this electrolytic or paper? Just because it says positive doesn't mean it's electrolytic. They marked the outside foil end on a lot of these old ones so that would be the negative, so the outside foil goes to ground. So that just because it says positive doesn't necessarily mean it's electrolytic. It could just be the inside foil. Actually, don't see a value on it. I see some numbers, but just want to have to take a look at that, or just look at the schematic to see. So probably might just power this up and see what we get, and probably replace these anyway just because they're old and paper and probably are at least somewhat leaky. But might just power it up for fun first and see what we get. So let me get the schematic to double check these wires here, and then we'll get some batteries and see what happens. Alright, so I got some batteries hooked up here. You can see the B plus right now is sitting at 94 volts. Well, it's not really the B plus, that's just the batteries itself. I haven't turned it on yet. I did verify that these connections were correct, so that's how I got it hooked up. So let's turn it on and see what happens. Oh, we got something. That was not pleasant. Sounds like a radio. So, interesting. So it is getting some stations. Seems to be working aside from that nasty like Tetradyne there. It does seem to be working. I'm getting a few stations in. The stations when I change it, if I change the direction of this, because these antennas are highly directional. It does seem to be working. I'm going to go ahead and replace those like 4 capacitors. We'll see if that helps with that Tetradyne or not. Not really suspecting that it will, but we'll do it anyway. Should be done. Those capacitors are old, and who knows how long they're going to last. As I mentioned, but I did put some wax on this cord here. You can see it works much better. This does seem to be loose. That might be part of the problem too. Okay, well, anyway, let me change those capacitors and we'll see if we get any noticeable difference. Okay, so I got all those capacitors replaced in there. I did check the resistors. The ones that weren't in parallel with anything seemed to check out, pretty close to the rated value. At first, these resistors, they look kind of weird because they look like they're striped, but then if you see someone like this one, it only looks like it has one stripe and the body is a solid color. So you read them like the old style dog bone resistor, which is body and a dot. So the body is one color, and then in this case, this one doesn't have a different color on either end. So the end is the same color. So the body is red, so that's a 2. The end is also red, so that's a 2. And then there's a green there, so that's 2.2 megohms. That's how you read those. So we'll flip this back up. Let's get our batteries back in here. Reconnect front batteries. So we don't get this red one near anything else. So the yellow one, here. Yellow one should be is here, so we'll stick that in. And then we'll get this, make sure this is turned off. Yep. Okay, so let's see if this is any better now.
More investment recommendations are being made. Some guests may pay
Definitely sounds a little bit better. I don't hear any more, at least not yet. I don't hear that same heterodyne that we had.
Future results. Thank you.
Definitely some there though.
Some people say, hey, we can't go back too fast, all right? And we got to get the money to these small business owners. But Nancy Pelosi and her ilk, they're not due back till May 4th. On vacation.
For God. God is a cat and God. God is a God.
How important that balance of chemistry is.
It seems like AVC isn't very effective, but maybe not much.
ESPN Radio, the ESPN app. We're also on Sirius XM Channel 80.
IQ Wealth Management in Scottsdale, a registered investment advisor and fiduciary with asset custodian Fidelity Institutional, member FINRA SIPC. But enough about those guys.
Some people maybe one or two a week or one or two a month. Some people that day trade.
So actually it seems like this one picks up a bit more stations down at the lower end of the band than most of the other radios that I have. Actually, I thought this might have been a shortwave, but looking at this closer, this is actually a meter scale down here. So this is only one band. I just got the, let's see there, I just got the frequency on the top and then wavelength on the bottom, which isn't that common. I don't know why it's on here, but who knows.
That's when I went, okay.
That's loud.
Folio's called open.
Okay, so I'd say that's working pretty good now. It makes no difference if I turn this. Well, I'm gonna pick it up my music station, but picks up plenty of other stations, so we'll look into that a little bit. But otherwise, this radio seems to be performing just fine. So I think next we'll look into the battery. So after some tweaking, I found my music station. Well, not necessarily my music station, but the only music station on AM here. And it looked like, I don't know whether someone was playing with the adjustments here, but it looked like the, let's see as far down as it goes, but it seemed like the oscillator adjustment had been turned like way down. So you're not really supposed to do this, but what I was doing was playing with these two adjustments right here. This front one is the oscillator and the back one is the antenna trimmer. And what I found as I was playing with these is it seemed like I had to, like, the maximum for the antenna trimmer was cranked all the way down in, which is not right. So I theorized that perhaps the oscillator was like adjusted, like way out of adjustment, so that there wasn't enough range on the antenna trimmer to bring the antenna frequency to match the oscillator frequency. So I slowly backed this out and like traced the station up the dial as I was backing this out until I got to a point where I could peak this, and then there was like a negative when I tightened it, a negative when I loosened it, so that there was like a definite peak point, and I didn't have to crank it all the way down in to get the maximum. And when I did that, I turned around a little bit and I found the music station there. So I'm not sure what exactly caused that, whether someone was just playing with it or what, but seems to be working now. So I'll put this back in the cabinet and then we can take a look at the battery. Alright, so that's back in the cabinet. I turned the lights off because the lights caused a little bit of interference. It's also I've got them off at the moment. If I turn them back on with the interference there, just keep them off for the moment. But so that's back in the cabinet. Next up is take up the battery. So initially I was going to try going in from this end, but it turns out the other end just unfolds. It's got little tabs here that like lock together, just unfolds. So let's see if we can get the insides out of here. You can see what's going on, but looks like it might be working. Maybe. Maybe not. Half of it came out. Let me see if I got something longer to poke down. I think what's happening is that when I pull on the back side, it pulls like doesn't pull exactly straight on the plate in the front. I think that's why. There we go. So that one might have leaked a little bit. But and you can see the marks on the side of it. Well, it might have someone that's just an empty box then. That's cool. Hole on that side. So we've got here, we've got some cardboard wrappers. Those are all the cells then for the 90 volt side. I don't know if they're bent from me pulling out, or they're just like, or that's the way they were made, or because you can see that the columns aren't exactly sure. Like these ones look a little curved that way. This one looks like it's got a bulge right there, so it's kind of curved that way. That's weird. This one's kind of curved the other way. I don't know if that's from them degrading or they were made that way or what. It's interesting. So this would probably those would be the cells for the 90 volts. This would be the 1.5 volts. So really, you don't have to take these apart, but I'm kind of curious what the cells in there look like. So just cut the wires for the 90 volt section. Since we won't be needing those anymore. And it looks like this is just taped across the top. So oh, that's nice and sticky in there. So these ones are tarred. Oh yeah, and you can definitely see, it down in there, the nice white puffy corrosion. Let me get these out of the way. Let's see. So looks like it pops open from there, from the bottom as well. Let's see if we can pop it open without ripping anything. So we'll probably have to reuse at least this front piece because it has the plate on here, if we decide to reuse the plate. which I am thinking about doing. Yeah, I don't know if it's going to want to come out because of the amount of corrosion. Actually, the glue is softened there. Oh yeah, that looks just lovely. We can probably get a bag before we go any further. Alright, got a trash bag to put the pieces in as we take them off. I don't know how active this acid is still going to be, but hopefully not that active. We can peel the, just dump some on the floor, that's nice. Yeah, I don't know if this cardboard box is going to be reusable given the amount of acid that's caked onto the sides of it. Not sure if you can see how my arm is in the way. Okay, so that's off, that's nice. I think I'm just going to put this right in the garbage. See if we can salvage this front piece or not. I'm hoping that we can. Should probably be doing this with rubber gloves on, but I actually don't have any rubber gloves at the moment. And I'm not going to be able to buy any. It's currently going on. I don't have any anywhere to be bought. Put that off. Okay, so that is the battery. Or what's left of it. It's basically just a nice pile of corrosion there. See, it was tarred on the top, so this whole thing is going directly into the garbage. And I'll clean up this corrosion on my bench. This is the front piece, so maybe we can salvage that, hopefully. Take a closer look at it. Actually, I don't know quite what holds it together. So maybe we can just clean this up and reuse it, hopefully. I don't see any corrosion on the connections inside, so hopefully those will be okay. Yeah, let me clean some of this up and we'll get back to that then. Okay, this is what I ended up doing. I just folded the wires, like I just kind of like looped them around on themselves here, and then just filled everything with solder. It's not 100% perfect, but they seem to fit pretty well in the pinholes there. So got this cardboard with holes in it to the shape of, with the holes in the correct spot. Pushed the soldered ends through, and I've kind of looped the wires around here just to hold them in place. And then I've also restuffed this battery. I took the 2 sets of 45 volt batteries that I had before and just shoved them in here, and then I hooked up 2 C batteries in parallel for the 1.5 volt filament. So all you really have to do, and I use a piece of cardboard for this just in case, well, for 2 reasons really. 1, to distribute the force, and 2, just in case there's any exposed wires poking through, I don't end up getting a shock, because the B plus here is 90 volts after all, and you will feel that. So now it should work. So theoretically, of course my stupid meter just turned itself off, get that out of here. Theoretically, I should be able to just slide this in here, like that, and assuming it didn't fall out. Sounds pretty good. I may attach this piece of cardboard to like staple it on or something, just to keep that there permanently. But, okay, I also glued this down too. Let's see, that should be dry now. That was super glue. That should be back in there again. So we should be able to put the back on, I think, here. Move out of the way. Oops. Let's put it on it. You can see that there. Turn it around. Fix that. Now this should be able to screw back in here. 2 screws. Top should be one more. It is. Some of these screws are different lengths than the other ones. I don't really know what exactly happened. The heads all look the same, but some of them are longer than others, and I think this one down here doesn't have a, it's not a wood screw like these other ones are. It doesn't have a sharp point. So I don't know whether someone changed them or whether it was just budget screw day at the factory. Oh, looks like it might be stripped, but I think it'll be okay.
What this means is that we are not satisfied until you're satisfied. We go the extra. Arizona Painting Company, voted #1 painting company.
Well, those sacred moments are made possible.
That's the reward. Now,
of the kingdom of the air shall be given to the saints.
more about new pay per mile car insurance. Price also includes a daily.
Number 18.
Head injuries.
Falling for 2 reasons. One,
Oh, and that'll be just about it for this video then.
to a car.
Unity.
In this hostile
Probably a little better. Yeah, less interference without the lights on. Alright, so that'll be about this for this video. I hope you enjoyed this quick little repair. Really the only thing that it actually needed, well I guess the changing the capacitors helped with some of that heterodyning, and it needed a battery. So, hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you for watching.